is this movie? About fish. And this fish, Marlin, is a husband and a new daddy of thousands. Whoops. No, he ain't. But it looks like one babby survived. And he calls this babby Nemo. Fast forward a year or 20, I don't know, fish time. And Nemo is going to school and Marlin is an overprotective fish. But then Nemo gets dared by some schooling fish to touch a butt. And then Nemo's like, I'm gonna touch the butt. And his dad is like, don't touch that butt. And Nemo's like, you never let me do what I want. And his dad is like, if you touch that butt, I'll beat your butt. Oh, you fucking rebel! But then Nemo gets caught. And then Marlin tries to chase down the butt, but runs into a fish named Dory, who said she saw the butt. But then we find out she can't remember shit. And then they run into a shark who brings them to more sharks. But these sharks don't eat fish. They're vegetarian. And then Marlin finds a diving mask from the diver who took Nemo. But whoops, blood gets in the water and the shark is like, I can't vegetarian anymore. And then we find out that Dory can read English, somehow. And then one of the sharks throws a torpedo and blows everything up. And then we cut to Nemo being put in a tank in a dentist's office. And the fish in the tank and this bird like to watch people get dental procedures. Sickos! And then they tell Nemo that this psycho girl he's supposed to go home with kills fish. And then Nemo gets caught in the filter and this one fish gill is all like, don't help him. I want to see him get out himself for my amusement. Dance for me, bitch! Welcome to the tank! And then we cut back to Dory and Marlin who wake up and this submarine starts falling towards them. And oh sheepskins, they drop the mast thingy into the abyss and go after it. And then they meet Fish Satan. And then they find out that Nemo was taken to Sydney. Damn it, Australia! What you taking Pixar fish for? And then we cut back to the tank fish again and they're doing a ritual thing. And then we find out that Gil wants to escape into the ocean by jamming the filter, waiting to be put in bags, rolling out the window, across the street, into the ocean to freedom. This doesn't seem overcomplicated at all. And then we cut back to Marlin and Dory who run into some cosplay fish that tell them that they can get to Sydney by following this current thingy. And then they run into a shat ton of jellyfish and pass out from getting stung. Damn it, bees! And then we come back to Nemo again and the tank fish are starting their escape and Nemo goes into the filter, but whoops! Nemo almost dead it. Good going, Gil! You and your dingus plan. Feel guilty! Feel guilty, you bitch! And then we cut back to Marlin and Dory again, waking up to turtles that aren't in California anymore. And they find out that they're on the current thingy. And then Marlin tells them what happened to Nemo and junk, and it spreads through the ocean, or at least this part of the ocean, I don't know. And then word spreads to the bird guy who was friends with the tank fish, who goes to the fish and is all like, hurry, sheep! Nemo's dad is looking for him! Then Nemo goes back into the filter to break it, but this time he doesn't almost dead. And then we cut back to Marlin and Dory, who are exiting the current thingy. Then they travel through this cloudy shit and run into a little fish, except this little fish is a whale and get eaten. Whoops! And then we cut back to the tank, which is filthy as fuck, and the dentist is like, well damn, I gotta get off my lazy ass and clean this. And then we cut back to Marlin and Dory, and Marlin is trying to get out of the whale, and Dory is like, well, what whale? And then the whale is like, blah, and Dory is like, blah, and Marlin is like, no. And then they go to the back of the throat and get pushed out of the whale's blowhole. That's how whale anatomy works, kids. And then they find themselves in Sydney. And then we cut back to the tank and it's all clean because the dentist installed a new filter? I mean, filters aren't gonna clean this kind of mess, but whatever. And then, oh no! And then we switch back to Marlin and Dory again, who get eaten, except they don't. But then they run into the bird that is friends with the tank fish and they fly off to the dentist place. But then we cut back to the dentist office and Nemo is about to be given to Satan, but he's dead.
In the arms of the angel.
Oh, never mind. He played dead to get flushed, but oops. He's going in the trash. But then the movie turns into When Animals Attack. Then Nemo goes down the drain because
all drains lead to the ocean.
And then we cut to Marlin and Dory again, and Marlin thinks Nemo is dead and he leaves Dory because he's sad and shit. But it looks like drains do lead to the ocean after all, because there's Nemo right here. And then Nemo runs into Dory and is all like, I'm looking for my dad. And Dory is like, I'm looking for your dad too, but she forgot. But then Dory is all like, I remember everything. She's cured everyone. Oh, never mind. And then Nemo and Marlin reunite and it's a nice warm moment. For 2 seconds. Dory gets caught in a net and Nemo's like, I can save her! And Marlin's like, no, I'm not gonna lose you to a fishing butt. And Nemo's like, I can save her from the butt. And Marlin's like, oh, okay. And then the fish swim down and break free, but Nemo didn't. Oh, never mind. So then they go back to the reef and Marlin lets go of his overprotectiveness. And then they all died. Or they didn't. I don't know. The end. Also, the tank fish escape and live the rest of their lives in bags.